Chosen one, stop right here. This is not a motivational speech. This is not encouragement. This is recognition. Very few people will ever hear what you're about to hear and understand it without resistance. If you're still listening, it's because something in you already knows. You carry clearance, not influence, not popularity, not authority people can see. Clearance, the kind that is granted quietly, the kind that comes with responsibility, not applause, the kind almost no one qualifies for. You were observed when no one was watching, tested when nothing seemed to be happening, measured in seasons where silence was your only companion, and you passed without knowing you were being evaluated. This level of clearance is not given to the loud. It is not given to the rushed. It is not given to those who need recognition to function. It is given to those who can hold power without abusing it. That's why your life felt heavier earlier than most. That's why you were forced to mature while others were still playing. That's why you lost interest in things that excited everyone else. You weren't becoming distant. You were becoming precise. You've always sensed it. That you don't react the way others do. That you pause where others explode. That you walk away from things people chase. That's not weakness. That's restraint. And restraint is a requirement at this level. You were denied things you prayed for. Not because they were bad, but because they would have distracted you. You were removed from environments, not because you didn't belong, but because you would have outgrown them too fast. You were misunderstood, because clarity makes confusion uncomfortable. This clearance allows you to see beneath surfaces, to feel intentions before words, to sense when alignment is off, even if logic says it's fine. That's why certain opportunities never fully open. That's why some doors closed without explanation. That's why shortcuts always felt wrong in your spirit. You are not meant to move fast. You are meant to move accurately. Kingdom-level clearance does not protect you from pressure. It trusts you with it. You were allowed to feel alone, so you could learn to stand without leaning. You were allowed to feel delayed, so you wouldn't rush when timing mattered. You were allowed to feel unseen, so you wouldn't depend on validation. Every delay refined your discernment. Every disappointment trained your restraint. Every quiet season sharpened your awareness. And now something is shifting. Not around you, within you. Your tolerance for noise is decreasing. Your patience is increasing. Your reactions are slowing. This is not exhaustion. This is authorization. Because before movement expands, alignment tightens, you are being prepared to carry information that cannot be leaked, authority that cannot be explained, and access that cannot be abused. This level requires one rule above all else. You do not move on emotion. You move on permission. That's why rushing never worked. That's why forcing always failed. That's why waiting felt necessary, even when it was painful. You weren't being held back. You were being trusted. And this is only the beginning. Because the clearance you carry is not for survival. It's for stewardship. Stay here. The next part will reveal why access always comes before elevation, and what happens when doors begin opening quietly instead of loudly. You need to understand this next part carefully. Clearance is never given all at once. It is revealed in layers. Because if everything you were trusted with was shown to you at the beginning, you would have questioned it, or worse, spoken it too early. Access grows as obedience proves consistent. This is why your life has moved in stages, not leaps, Not shortcuts. Stages. Every stage checked one thing. Could you handle more without becoming careless? You were watched in how you handled silence, in how you handled delay, in how you handled disappointment, without turning resentful. Most people fail here. They speak too soon. They react emotionally. They leak what should have been protected. You didn't, even when you wanted answers. You waited, even when you were frustrated. You didn't corrupt your character. That restraint unlocked the next layer. Clearance does not come with explanation. It comes with responsibility. You began to notice that certain information reached you first, that certain shifts were felt by you before they became visible, that certain warnings came as discomfort, not words. This is how clearance communicates. Not through noise, through knowing. This is also why your circle had to shrink. Not because you are better than others, but because not everyone can carry what you carry. Without mishandling it, you weren't isolating. You were being protected. People with clearance must learn discretion early. Not everything is meant to be discussed. Not everything is meant to be shared. Not everyone needs access to your inner process. Silence became your language, because explanation would have weakened authority. There were moments you wanted to be understood, moments you wanted someone to simply see you. But understanding is not always a sign to the people around you. Sometimes it's a sign to time. And time has been working in your favor. The delays you resented were actually filters. They removed what could not scale with you. Because clearance comes with expansion, and expansion exposes everything unstable. That's why your foundation had to be strong. Before anything visible was built, you were being trained to move without announcing, to know without proving, to hold without displaying. This is why attention drains you, why noise irritates you, why chaos feels unnatural. Your system is built for order. You don't thrive in urgency. You thrive in alignment. And now alignment is tightening again. You may feel less interested in debate, less interested in convincing, less interested in explaining yourself. That's because authority doesn't argue. It moves. And this next season will not reward effort. It will reward accuracy. But there is a risk at this level. The risk is impatience. When access begins to increase, the temptation is to act before permission, to speak before timing, to move before alignment is complete. This is where many with potential lose clearance, because access can be revoked. When discretion disappears, you are being reminded now to slow your movements, to sharpen your listening, to trust the signal over the emotion. What is opening next will not require force. It will require restraint. And restraint has always been your strength. Stay with this. The next part will reveal what this clearance is actually preparing you for, and why your role will require calm authority, not visible dominance. This is where understanding deepens. Clearance is not about position. It is about placement. You are not being prepared to stand above people. You are being prepared to stand steady when others become unstable. That is the difference. Those with clearance are positioned where decisions carry weight, where timing matters, where words can alter outcomes. That is why you were trained in patience. Before you were trusted with movement, you were taught to observe. Before you were allowed to act, to listen, before you were allowed to speak. You noticed it early. Your instinct to pause, your ability to sense when something is off. your discomfort with rushed decisions. This was not hesitation. It was calibration. You were being tuned. At this level, impulse is dangerous. Emotion clouds accuracy. Urgency creates errors. So your spirit learned stillness. You were placed in moments where doing nothing was the test, where waiting was harder than acting, where silence felt heavier than speaking. And you passed those too. Clearance prepares you to operate without needing constant confirmation. That is why reassurance stopped coming. That is why signs became subtle. That is why direction felt internal. You were being trained to trust alignment, not approval. This also explains why certain people drifted away naturally. Not through conflict, not through drama, just distance. They were not removed as punishment. They were released as protection. Because your next assignments require neutrality, discernment, and emotional regulation. People with unresolved chaos cannot stand close to this level without disrupting it. You were not meant to be surrounded by noise. You were meant to hear clearly. And now, you may feel something new. A quiet readiness, not excitement, not urgency, just readiness. That feeling means your system is stable. You are no longer reacting to life. You are responding to alignment. This is where many misunderstand clearance. They think it comes with visibility. It doesn't. It comes with responsibility. You will be trusted with timing, with information, with influence that moves quietly. You will notice that doors open without announcement, that access is granted without explanation, that opportunities feel calm, not overwhelming. That is the signature. But here is the final refinement at this stage. You must remain unprovoked. People may test your restraint. Situations may invite reaction. Noise may try to pull you into urgency. Do not take the bait. Those tests are not obstacles. They are confirmations. They confirm that you are being trusted with more. You are not meant to dominate. You are meant to stabilize. You are not meant to impress. You are meant to steward. And stewardship requires consistency. When no one is watching, hold this awareness, because the final part will explain what happens when clearance turns into assignment, and why what you are about to step into will require simplicity, not complexity. Stay present. You are very close. This is the final part, and it is the most important. Clearance is given so that assignment can be trusted. Everything you've experienced so far was preparation for stewardship, not elevation. You are not being positioned to stand out. You are being positioned to hold ground. What comes next in your life will not announce itself. It will not demand attention. It will not arrive with noise. It will arrive with responsibility. You will be trusted with moments where your response matters more than your intention, with situations where calm will be more powerful than force, with choices where silence will protect more than explanation. This is why you were trained to slow down, why you were taught to listen inwardly, why urgency always felt wrong to you. Your assignment requires precision. You are meant to move when permission aligns, not when emotion rises. At this level, doing less is often the correct move. Waiting is often the action. Stillness is often the instruction. Do not confuse this with passivity. This is discipline. You are being trusted to protect what others would misuse, to carry influence without displaying it, to hold authority without seeking recognition. This is rare. Most people want the result, without the responsibility, the visibility, without the restraint, the access, without the accountability. You qualified because you chose integrity when no one was watching. Now hear this carefully. The next phase of your life will reward consistency, not intensity. Small correct actions will matter more than dramatic ones. Quiet decisions will shape outcomes more than loud declarations. You will feel tempted to explain yourself. Resist it. You will feel pressure to act quickly. Resist it. You will feel tested through distraction. Stay focused. What you carry requires protection, not secrecy. Wisdom. Let results speak. Let timing reveal. Let alignment lead. You do not need to announce what you are becoming. Those who need to know will recognize it, and those who do were never meant to follow you there. Remain steady. Remain grounded. Remain accurate. This clearance was not given lightly, and it was not given temporarily. You have been trusted because you have proven that you can carry weight without being changed by it. Now walk forward without rushing, without explaining, without looking back. The assignment is active, and you are ready.